Welcome to Auntie Joko's chair. Today we want to continue our conversation on the last episode. We listen, we don't judge in their situation. First, let me appreciate all who subscribed, who liked, who commented, and who shared the video. I am most grateful. Today, we want to continue the conversation. I'll be responding to Nim's opinion and some of the comments that came in. I want you to know that everyone's opinion is valid. However, Auntie Joko has her opinion too. We listen, but we don't judge. Means exactly that. However, we are all in position to judge ourselves. When you think about the two scenarios painted in our last episode, like a young adult crashing the father's precious car, or a partner, husband or wife, committing adultery, having an affair with somebody's best friend. In fact, let me use this opportunity to appreciate an offline comment I got from South Africa. A father of a young person identified with the first scenario, but he said, "Oh, thank God he didn't crash the car." What do we do at these times? The young person should know that when your father, you've not taken permission, you've taken his car, thank God you didn't crash it. You don't expect your father not to react or respond in any way. When things go negative or get unpleasant, we should really look inward and ask ourselves some questions. Oh, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Where do I need to change? How will I feel if what I did was done to me? That way, when we empathize and we put ourselves in the shoes of the other person, we can understand their response, even if it is of anger, if it is like upset. The example we gave, for example, is stubborn and rebellious child goes out with the car that we said at the first scenario and bashes the car. Let's say bashes the car. The child needs to understand the anger of the parent in case the parent chooses to vent out in anger. Honestly, it will seem very odd if the parent's first reaction is not upset or anger. So, I want to say again to all our young people, because I discovered these days that most young people, they don't like to be scolded, they don't like to be corrected. Sometimes when you even correct them, they might say, "Oh, I need to see a therapist because I'm emotionally disturbed." We must understand that we don't have control over the response or reaction of the other people. Though we can talk about it later. Maybe after the episode, we can say, "Oh, the way you shouted or the way you vent your anger affected me this way." But we don't have control on the response or the reaction of someone. Also, if a habitual and unrepentant adulterer or someone who keeps cheating and cheating over and over again continues to trample on the spouses or the partner's forgiving nature and endurance, we will agree with me that it's highly unfair on that partner or that spouse. With that person, the adulterer, if the same thing was done to the person, how will that person feel? So we have to learn not to do what we cannot tolerate to others. And that is how we listen, we don't judge, can actually have meaning. We should all look inward. You might not be able to judge the other person, but you can judge yourself. We must be able to look inward and put ourselves under judgment by fair reasoning. If we examine ourselves, we will not keep hurting others and expect instant forgiveness. However, genuine love keeps forgiving until a change occurs. If the needed change does not occur, genuine love keeps forgiving as long as there is no risk to life. When there is risk to life, to your life, my dear, run for your life. Watch out that you are not harmed. It is actually inevitable that we will be hurt. As we go through life, as we relate with people, the tendency to be hurt is there. But watch out that you are not harmed. Watch out that there is no risk to your life. And whatever we choose in those two scenarios, if you choose to forgive, please understand what forgiveness means. If you choose to walk away, like the comments we receive, that I will walk away, make sure you are walking away without bitterness, without resentment, without, allowing it to harm you. Because if you allow the resentment, the bitterness of what that person has done to be inside of you, you are harming yourself. So be careful that no one is harming you and you are not harming yourself. But before I conclude with my opinion on the two scenarios, I would like to make some key points in whatever decision or whatever you decide to do in the two scenarios. I want to emphasize accountability. I want to emphasize what it means when you say I am sorry. I want to emphasize what it means to forgive. Yes, I would like to talk about accountability. One of the things I discover as I work with young people is that most young people, besides the fact that they don't like to take responsibility for their actions, they also have problem with accountability. So I just want to explain what it is when someone is accountable. Accountability is simply taking responsibility for one's action, for one's decisions and commitment. It means liability to be held responsible or answerable for what one does. You see, there's an expected behavior from our different roles as a father, a mother, a child at home. And we also play different roles at work, in our school, in marketplaces, and even on the street. And there are expected behavior for each of these roles. If that expected behavior is not there or seen, the person is not taking responsibility. The opposite of responsibility is irresponsibility. So when you do what is wrong or I do what is wrong, which can happen to anyone, the responsible thing to do is to be sorry and to apologize sincerely from your heart. A person who is not accountable cannot keep people's love, trust, and respect. So when we do what is wrong, or when I do something that is wrong, which can happen to anyone, the responsible thing to do is to be sincerely sorry and apologize from your heart. A person who is not accountable cannot keep people's love, trust, or respect. Remember, one of the issues Nim raised was that, you don't insult the child, you just calm down. Most young people will want you to calm down, even when they are not taking responsibility for what has happened. So when we are accountable, we are likely to be responsible, and we'll understand that we don't always have control over the feelings or responses or reactions of others. I want to say to most of our young people that when we err, even not the young person alone, even older people, when we err or we are wrong, let's be sorry sincerely. Let's apologize. And saying I'm sorry in the context of an offense should be an expression of remorse, acknowledging the hurt or the damage caused to others, accepting the blame without defensive explanation. Those kind of explanation. Oh, you made me do it. Oh, you made me angry. That was why I did it. No, that's not tenable if you're actually sorry. Understanding the impacts of one's action, validating others' feelings, and committing to change. That is what I'm sorry. That is what it means. Sincere apology, can facilitate restoration and trust. Normally, rebuilding trust takes time. But when you are sincerely sorry, when you are remorseful, it facilitates building trust again. I also want to emphasize what I forgive you, what it means. I know most of us will know, but it's just to emphasize it. Saying I forgive a serious offense is a powerful statement that involves releasing feelings of resentment, of vengeance, of bitterness, and anger towards someone who has caused harm or hurt us. And I just want to say this. People say that, oh, forgive and forget. It's not about forgetting or excusing the offense, but rather about choosing to let go of all those negative emotions associated with the wrongdoing. When we intentionally let go of feeling of resentment, of anger, of bitterness, we become physically, we become mentally, spiritually, psychologically, and even socially fit and healthy. With this, we've come to the end of this conversation. The conversation is ongoing. We still welcome comments. We still welcome your opinion concerning we listen, we don't judge in that situation. Please like, share, and comment on this video. Also subscribe if you haven't. Aunty Joko Cares, Aunty Joko Counsel, Aunty Joko Advocates, Aunty Joko Guides. Thank you. Bye for now.